channel. This is our 4th video.
Her channel
Yeah.
with extra features. You remember in the old days with DVDs, when you watch the DVD finish, you can go there to extra features. This is like the extra
Oh my
feature.
gosh,
now,
90 kids.
And then it's like you can
Well,
do
you
behind
actually-
the scenes and all stuff like that. You know, cool guys used to do that. Today everyone just Netflix and chill. They don't know what extra features are. They think it's the credits at the end.
So, today we are doing our 4th episode of our imperfect love story. If you haven't watched the others, make sure that you do watch them to catch on to today's story. But today we're going to chat about how we stopped.
Bum bum bum.
Let me see. Well.
Nasty.
Nasty. Okay, how we stopped having sex and also why. And I know that is a tricky situation to chat about, but we're gonna really dive into it. But before we get into that, a lot of you guys have been asking for some old photos of us. I have some very cringe-worthy photos here that we'll take you through. I took it off my old Facebook that don't even exist anymore, and yeah, let's like quickly have a look at them.
Model man.
So this was actually a photo I took of Kev. Like, I wanted to play with my new camera I got, and yeah, Kev had like a mullet.
Yeah, that's still a small mullet, but it's a mullet.
This was at a rugby game. We thought that it was my first ever rugby game, but it was actually at the Lions. You can see it's like the Lions, these Lions flags.
I think this game was still the Lions relegation match. Remember in the old Super Rugby they had to play against the Kings for their place back in Super Rugby. After that they just started winning. But yeah, that
and
was
they did really well, and then they won the Ellis. No. Not the World Cup.
Okay, enough of that. Let's get back to the photo. They won the Webb Ellis trophy.
I know that is so wrong. When it came out of my mouth, I'm like, what the hell are you saying? The Curry Cup. Was it? No, it was Super.
They won the Curry Cup, but I can't remember.
But it was like a massive game that year, and Lions did so well that year. Yeah, anyways. So I wanted to tell you guys also, like, Kev took me to my first ever stadium game when we started dating. He took me to Soweto.
Yeah, Soccer City, yeah.
For the New Zealand and Springbok test game. And like a few minutes within the game, I'm asking, listen, I don't want to be weird, but like, I cannot hear the commentators. And he like burst out laughing at me, and he told everyone the story. It embarrassed me so much, but I didn't know that commentators are only on the TV. I thought it's actually in the stadium as well. I think it will be cool. Maybe they should look into that, because sometimes you can't see what's happening, you know, so they can like
it can work. It can work. And they'll make money selling off maybe earphones where people can have one in the ear.
Yeah,
remember years back you used to get that earphone with where you can hear the refs call years back. But you can do that with commentating, then you can like listen and still hear the crowd.
Game. Yeah, okay.
That can work.
This is a photo of Kev in Matric with his first rugby team. There he is in the middle. Look at you.
Old.
It's very old. You literally look like a little boy.
Yeah, I am.
And this was us on your like rugby awards ceremony.
Yeah.
And that was the same night. And then this photo was actually taken in our old house. Remember we told you guys that we lived in a very old house, and here you can kind of see that it was really old, and Kev's busy with the dishes, which was a once in a lifetime thing, so I had to take the photo, but now it's like every day. Oh my word, this photo. This is a bit like cringe-worthy.
Hey, sailor!
There's some cringe-worthy photos in here, but I did like promotional events and I did modeling and stuff, and this was a part of that. And yeah, Kev really supported me through everything. I don't know how he did it, because when I look at these I'm like, what the heck. But it was a different phase in my life that I went through, and yeah. This photo is just so bad. Like, my makeup is so bad, and I think I looked so good.
My makeup as well. I mean, red in the face. That foundation, just ridiculous.
This is like very old photo of us. You can see I didn't even fill in my brows here. Very light. I wore that the Labello Pearl pink lip eyes that would tint your lips. It was
this was an Easter weekend years ago.
This was
when we went to the mall.
And this one as well. It's one of our first ever pictures. Look at the sunglasses.
Nice.
And this was also an old photo of us. And this photo actually was my background photo on my phone. This was taken before me and Kev started dating, so that was not you even have your Sony Ericsson in your hand there.
Yeah.
And he actually sent me this photo when we just started dating. You know, you'd exchange photos, and I had this as my wallpaper.
Old school.
Oh my word. Cut my hair. I look like a baby.
Flip on my baby.
Oh, this was when me and Kev also we just started dating, and we went away for the weekend with my parents, and I obviously asked him if he could come with, and he did, and it was like our first little weekend away with my parents. And so my mom actually took this photo of me on his lap. Oh,
yeah, that's a nice photo.
This was I think at your 21st this photo was taken. This was also a background photo of mine for a very long time. Also, I look like a baby. And I had a little armband here that had the words Kevin on it.
Hey. Mark the spot.
This photo was I had pink put in my hair. I was 18 here. You can see I'm like a baby. This is when we like just started dating, a few months in, and I finished with school. And it was December, and they went to Langebaan, and I had pink in my hair. It was a thing back then, and I was so excited to put it in my hair. I'm done with school, I'm done with matric. And this was actually, we went to...
You got pink in your hair now.
Yeah, I got pink in my hair now as well. Okay, maybe it's a thing. Maybe I've always just had a thing for pink.
This is softer pink. That's like screaming pink.
Yeah, that was like punk.
Yeah.
Like, we actually went for dinner because the next day they would have left for Cape Town for a whole month. And it was going to put a lot of pressure on our relationship. And I went down with my mom and them to see my family. And then, remember, you phoned, you like, my parents said I should come pick you up and you should spend the rest of the holidays with us. And so they drove all the way from Langebaan on to Cape Town, which is still about an hour and a half drive. And they picked me up, and then I spent the rest of the holiday with them. It was amazing.
Yeah. Langebaan's the best.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's Jacob's Bay. That's
when I went. Yeah, I just told you guys the story. This was also like, we weren't actually dating yet, We were just seeing each other, and this was like a modeling competition that I did. I was 18 and he came to support me. And we just started, we were still like sort of friends.
I look the same. No, look.
You think?
Look, the same. I just need to shave.
Yeah, you do. You aged well. Okay, the worst thing. Hey! Hip hip Holland! So this photo I'm very proud of. This was when it was Soccer World Cup in South Africa. You still have the date down here. And obviously we were supporting the Dutch. And we wore our proud Dutch colours, and yeah, I mean, it's like 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
It's 10 years ago. Crazy.
What did they call those parks where you can watch the games?
Yeah, this was in Joburg.
This was Newtown, but
they had like
I
a
can't
big
remember
screen.
what they call it.
I went to go and watch the final, but Holland lost. The Netherlands lost against Spain, and yeah, so we weren't happy. We were still happy, but we weren't very happy afterwards. This was at my cousin's 21st. Hey. It was like a tropical theme.
Let's go to the beach.
Like if you look at this, like 21st have changed so much. Yeah. Like how people do 21st nowadays.
It's all because of MTV with the My Super Sweet Birthday and the Kardashians and all them. They just glamorize and flatter everything, where we just need to go back to the basics and enjoy life, you know.
This was taken, we were dating for 1 day. Yeah, the evening before. Remember we told you guys the story of how Kev asked me to be his girlfriend? This was literally taken 1 day after that. And I remember one of his friends' girlfriend asked me, oh, so how long are you guys an item now? And I said literally 1 day. And I remember this photo, and then this is one of Kev's friends.
Yeah.
Bossy. So I had badly bleached blonde hair, but anyways.
Yeah, that's a cool memory, huh? Sure.
And this was also in that same time, more or less. This was at the rugby club, taken at the rugby club. Oh, there's another raunchy photo. Look at your skin. Your skin was quite bad there, eh?
It happened months ago. Yo, but look how red I am there.
And this was also at like a vampire sort of event. It's an old photo of me with my long hair. This was in matric. This was taken in matric. I had long hair in matric. This was one of my promotional events. I made FHM top 20, and I had like voting parties, and yeah, I was like, I gave people free shooters to vote for me. So I practically bribed them. Okay.
Yay.
So that's just a few of our old photos. We hope you guys enjoyed it. So let's move on to the second part of this video, which is where we're going to talk about how we stopped having sex.
After seeing that photos, I don't know how we stopped there. We were a nice couple. Well, we're still obviously a happy married couple, but yeah, it's cool to see.
Look at the old photos.
Old days.
Like, you think you looked so good there. Well, you did, but like for me, I don't know. I look at those photos and go, oh, what was I thinking? But okay, so I think talking about the sex subject, like, should we go into? I know we spoke about it in our mukbang. Where we spoke about that we had sex, but we didn't have it much. But I think let's go over it for the people who maybe didn't watch that video.
Yeah, no, it's fun. Obviously.
Is it fun?
Yeah. I've now net onthou.
Yeah, I mean, it's been like 12 years that we've been together. It's crazy, but so so if you watched our previous few episodes, we spoke about how we broke up. It was that big breakup, and then also now we were dating, right? So I didn't want to get married, and we realized, okay, we want to stay together, and we went through that whole sort of story. So even in that time, we also broke up a few times in between, but it wasn't too serious and wasn't for so long and that sort of thing. But back on the sex topic, like, we obviously started having sex, I think about two or 3 months after we started dating.
Yeah, I know it was obviously a while before, before we started.
Yeah, we waited a while, but the thing is, like, when you're young and I don't know, like, it's so hard to say, because I know in a new relationship there's a lot of physical attraction at that moment, and you constantly want to jump on one another the whole time and stuff. But we actually didn't have as much sex as a lot of other couples are saying they were doing or they were having. And the main reason for that, like, sometimes I don't know if it's just because people are trying to talk big or talk fancy or like sound cool or whatever, but for us, we ended up like not having sex that much because there was such a fear of me falling pregnant and having to deal with our parents, because both our parents were still together and we wanted to respect both of them, and we also decided not to, take chances and that sort of thing. Even though we've done like stupid stuff, we spoke about it in the mukbang as well. We done some crazy stuff, guys. We were young, we were there, but we didn't care. Like, that wasn't something we wanted to cut out of our relationship and stuff like that. But my point is, the reason why I'm saying this is also like I want to get to this part. So basically we we would like do the nasty. It's so weird, like I don't actually know how to talk about it.
We used to talk about it. It's not a thing of sex or anything, but we would talk about it as Mark Liefde, because that was because
love.
Let's all be honest, after that you just feel so much more in love
Connected
and love towards one another,
and all of that.
and that's how we pronounce it always, and we still do, you know. And yeah, so we say actually the nasty and stuff because we saw it actually just the other day on a TV show, and we laughed ourselves pop, want it's frek funny, but yeah.
But like more on a serious note, because obviously this was meant to be more of a serious video of why we took that decision to stop having sex. So let's just get into the story, right? So basically there was a period where we still broke up again between getting back together and that whole sort of thing, where I grew up in a Christian home. With my parents was very involved in church, and obviously grew up with church morals, and I was actually like, I'm very thankful for that, for you know how I grew up and got to know God and that sort of thing. But when I sort of was in matric, I kind of just like pulled back a little bit, and I went on a bit of a rebellious sort of thing, and then you know, we met and we were still going to church, but we had no relationship with God. That was the thing. So obviously for us it wasn't like a big thing in our lives back then. But I had a friend who's been a friend of mine since school, and she invited me to cell one evening, and since then I started going to church more, and that actually caused a lot of like friction between us two. And
yeah, because I just wanted to Joel store. I was the guy that wanted to go out,
and I wasn't in the mood. I was like, okay, fine,
and
go.
Just do all that stupid stuff. So we actually started living past each other.
Yeah,
to be quite
and
honest.
it's so funny because he would get so angry with me because he'd come home after a night of drinking and partying and everything, and then I'm not home because I'm at church. And then he'd get so angry at me. And then we ended up fighting, and he told me, yeah, I joined the cult, which is like a joke up until today.
You know, it's so funny because I could never understand how you could spend so much time. It wasn't at church. It was cell and just, you know, they socializing.
Movie afterwards, then go for dinner, then have milkshakes together, then like we did everything together.
I couldn't understand. Like I was like, how can you be at church permanently? It didn't make sense to me. It didn't.
And it's not that you're not at all forced to go, but you just like, you really want to go. You want to be involved. You want to spend time with those people. And he hated that because I was never like that. I was always with him and doing what he wanted to do. And in that moment, so we briefly broke up in that time period. And
yeah, because I told her she joined the cult and it's not a church.
And I then moved out. Remember, I moved out for a while, and I mean, it was also a bad breakup. Not as bad because we were just boyfriend and girlfriend, so it wasn't as bad as the engagement breakup. And it also was for about 2 months or so, which was another big breakup in our relationship. But not, So eventually, I started building a relationship with God and really getting to know the Lord again. And I wasn't fully committed yet, but he wanted to sort things out and he wanted to get back together and all that sort of things. And I was like, boy, you gotta come with church with me if you want to get back together with me, remember? And he went with me to cell one evening, and he was extremely awkward and weird, but everyone was welcoming, and that was kind of where we started going to church more, and then we wouldn't go, and we'd go to church. We got back together again.
I think it was, I first got to, go when you guys had a social gathering and stuff. I went with, and at that time it was awkward, and then
because you didn't know anyone.
Yeah, and then I started to know some people, and then when I went to cell, it was just next level, different for me, awkward, and but. I knew I had to sacrifice some stuff in life, and today I'm really grateful for it. I sacrificed a lot of my stupid behavior, and it got me to a point where I can actually say today that I'm closer to God.
Sorry, we had to change the card, so now Kev's a bit.
So obviously we're sacrificing a lot. In my life I'm closer to God than what I ever was before, and I mean the reward I got was just amazing. So in that, obviously I talk about the reward as my wife. She's my wife, but also a lot of other rewards I got in life, blessings and all that. And to be quite honest, that one awkward night turned into so much other nights, and today, I enjoy it.
I enjoy jumping gun a bit.
Sorry, I enjoy it thoroughly.
It's like at the end already.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, we were going. So obviously, I moved back in with him. We got back together. We had sex a few times.
We made love.
We were going to church.
And I was the love doctor.
We went.
Yeah. Come on.
We went to church, and then we didn't go, and then we went again, and we didn't go, and it was like a rocky relationship. It wasn't. We weren't fully invested, but we had more of a relationship with God. And then one day, I remember we weren't going to church for such a long time, and then one day we went. And there was this amazing prophetic preacher that just really touched our hearts. And that evening we decided to give our hearts to God. And we went to the front of the church, and we really do you remember? It was such a powerful night, and it really changed us so much. And that night was the turning point in our lives. And even then our lives weren't perfect, and we'll talk about a lot of other things still, but focusing on the sex subject, we started building more of a relationship with God. And it came to a point where we both felt like we wanted to stop having any sort of sexual activities, like anything sexual. We would still kiss pretty passionate, but we decided that we didn't want any sexual activities involved in our
intercourse. You will not say any.
Yeah, none of that.
Yeah.
Like no touchy, no looky, nothing.
Just touchy leggy, touchy handy, touching lippy, but no touchy further.
No touchy booby. And we both actually agreed on that. So this is the funny part, right? So a lot of people looked at us funny. Like we still had a lot of friends, and they just didn't believe, obviously when that topic came up,
couldn't understand.
They were like, yeah, sure, you're not having sex. And at the end of the day, it was a decision we took. And you know what the crazy part is about this? We were living together, we were sleeping in the same bed, but there was literally no activities happening because both of us took that decision with God in our relationship. And I think it becomes very easy when you both at that point where you want to take that step in your relationship and decide not to do those things. And
we had a common goal. We had a common focus. I think that was the thing. Yeah. So the whole focus of making love shifted to
marriage.
And introducing God more into our lives. That was more important to us than whatever earthly stuff,
Yeah, and I remember we wouldn't even get dressed in front of one another. I would always go into the bathroom. Even if I had a bra or something on, I wouldn't let Kev see me like that. And it was actually such a powerful testimony talking about it, because like I said, sometimes you have that, when we started kissing and it got hectic, we just stop it, because it was so easy and it came so naturally. It was hard, but it was easy at the same time, because we both wanted that same thing.
Yeah, that same discipline, yeah.
I think the reason why we wanted to talk about the subject is for those of you out there who want to take that step in your relationship. I would definitely recommend it. And I think a lot of people are afraid of what others might think or others might say. And as I mentioned earlier, a lot of people would look at us and go, yeah, sure, you guys live together, but you sleep in the same bed, but at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with them. And also, what actually happened within your relationship, and you and your partner that you wanted to take that step. And I think for us it was really important because it made our relationship so much stronger actually with each other and with God, you know, growing closer to God in that moment that we decided to do that.
Yeah, so obviously it's rich coming from us, you know, coming from me, but to be quite honest, I don't think your sex life is actually something to share with your friends, because at the end of the day it's people you trust. You think you trust people, you know, but at the end of the day, if you made that decision, you must really be sure which people you can actually share that decision with, because a lot of people will actually stand against it, and that might question your mind and you know, your
whole perception about the decision.
And that makes it harder, that makes it just so much worse. And at the end of the day, it's really when you focus on God and you put everything in your discipline and all that, that's your focus, and between each other it is you can accomplish it. And it's really not something that I would say share with everyone, because people will put doubt in you and say, oh, you can't, how is it possible,
you already had sex, you already sinned, you might as well just do it.
Exactly.
But here's the thing, right? So obviously that was always my thought about everything as well, you know. I made that mistake when I was 18, and that's why I kind of thought like, well, I'm anyways not a virgin, so I might as well just like do it, you know, what the hell. But it's so crazy how God comes and restores something in your life. And I'm not at all saying that He's coming into my life and He made me a virgin again. But the thing is, like, we went through a process where we really stood in front of God and asked for healing in our lives, like healing within our relationship with Him, and, you know, to be forgiven of our sins. And we also got baptized. Do you remember? We got baptized, and in that moment it's so amazing how when you get out of that water, how you just feel so pure and clean and loved by God, like the amount of love you feel. And in that moment you realize that God loves you so much that all your sins can kind of just be washed away and you can start on a clean slate, which is what we did. And I think that was the most amazing thing, because even before we got married, I had to go for counseling, and, you know, the pastor really prayed over my life to all the things that we've done. Like, I opened up towards her to tell her, listen, we had sex beforehand, and obviously she explained how, you know, because it's out of marriage, it's not a good thing, and we need to really cut those ties and get rid of them. So we really prayed that over my life, and we prayed over me and Kev's marriage, that when we start to have sex again, that it will be pure, that it will be a good thing of God, that it will not be the same as what it was before we got married. And the crazy thing is, it's not. Like, it's so different. It's like, it's so amazing, like being married and just knowing that you can have this love connection that is just so good. You know, it's like, why are you laughing? It's like really the truth, because I don't know, it's just something that's so pure, and to know that God made it for marriage, this just makes so much sense. And yeah, so our first time when we were married was just like
yeah, proper honeymoon.
First time,
I had to wait till like I think it's 3 or 4 in the morning, because we only left our wedding at like 2.
You had to wait like on the day of your wedding. You're like,
come on, time is of essence. No, you know what? Our wedding night was amazing. It was brilliant.
Yeah,
and then obviously that first time was like boom, crackers everywhere, Guy Fawkes, the works.
But also I think like the whole purpose of this video is obviously we wanted to share our experience, but we also definitely, if that's something you're thinking about of sustaining for marriage, or getting to that point where you want to wait until you're married rather, like, we would definitely say to go for it, because that is something that we did, and people thought that it wasn't possible, and people thought that it's the same. But I promise you, if you go through that process that we went through, it just changes so much in your relationship. And it was such a powerful thing, and it's something we are so proud of. And we wanted to share.
Grateful,
grateful
as
for
well.
that God really helped us to get through all of those temptations and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we could have done it without Him.
No.
We wanted to just share that with you guys, and we hope that you enjoyed this little story time. I think our next episode will be about how we actually got engaged, and then
The second time.
the second time.
for the real time, the real one.
The real one, the real deal. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, until our next one,
Stay sweet.
talk to you soon.
Bye.